rip-offs.
This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. Suspense on the high frontier. A Soviet spaceship with 2 men on board is orbiting the planet Earth tonight after 2 attempts to return home failed. The cosmonauts, a Soviet and an Afghan, are running out of food and oxygen. CBS News correspondent Barry Peterson is following developments in Moscow.
It was almost the end of a perfect mission. The 3 cosmonauts aboard the Mir space station saying fond farewells to 2 cosmonauts heading home. The small, advanced model of a Soviet space capsule slowly pulled away from the space station. To the Soviets, who have done this many times before, there was no sense that within moments the mission would be in serious trouble. The space capsule engine was facing front as it fired. It would slow the capsule so gravity could pull it back to Earth. Then crisis. A sensor monitoring the Earth's horizon sent an incorrect emergency message to the ship's computer saying the capsule was wobbling. Acting on bad information, the computer shut down the engine. For several minutes, the capsule drifted. Then the sensor corrected itself, saying the capsule was okay and sent the all clear to the computer, which obediently restarted the engine. But the delay meant the landing would be off course. The capsule would fall in China, not the Soviet Union. So the pilot shut down for a second time. His plan, either the computer or he will restart the engine early tomorrow morning Soviet time to continue the descent. It is described as a routine maneuver that will drop the capsule safely within the Soviet Union. If it doesn't work, the only thing left to try is moving the huge Mir space station close enough for a spacewalk rescue.
It's a bit like trying to steer an aircraft carrier around a little dinghy. It's going to take a lot of maneuvering.
I think the Soviets clearly feel that they have a solution in hand, or else they wouldn't have announced a time of when they're going to try it again.
The openness about today's crisis is offering clues to Western experts about the new Soviet space capsule. The infrared sensor that failed is described as technology the Americans abandoned years ago. Meanwhile, the Soviets are outwardly calm about the fate of the 2 men. Don't worry, said the chief mission controller. Nothing terrible has happened yet. The life support system will last for 2 days. The Soviets insist they will have both men home in time for breakfast. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Moscow.
The Soviets have been providing regular reports about the crisis in space, part of their new limited policy of openness or glasnost. For more on the political aspects of this story now, we are joined by Jonathan Sanders, a longtime CBS News consultant about Soviet affairs, and now a CBS News reporter. Jonathan?
Dan, since the American Challenger disaster and glasnost under Gorbachev, the Soviets have been telling everyone much more than we need to know about every Soviet space launch, starting with liftoff. Unlike NASA, the Soviets often launch their manned missions at night. And Soviet space problems don't come on liftoff, but on re-entry. In 1967, 1 cosmonaut died when his parachute tangled. In 1971, a valve failed, killing 3 more men. In 1979, 2 cosmonauts survived an emergency landing when their main engines failed. No pictures of those events were released, but this flight with an Afghan co-pilot has been covered for weeks. It's more than glasnost. This flight has a political purpose.
The mission was inserted into this year's sequence on orders from the Kremlin to impress the Afghans with how useful it is to be a friend of Russia.
Indeed, the Soviets may have rushed to get the mission in while the Soviet-backed government is still in control of Afghanistan. Some experts think that could have sacrificed safety. Dan?
Thanks, Jonathan. We'll see what happens tonight. With their own space mission only 3 weeks away now, the 5 Discovery shuttle astronauts in this country arrived today at the Kennedy Space Center. They wish the cosmonauts luck in their flight. For the next 3 days, the shuttle astronauts will rehearse the countdown and practice emergency escape procedures of their own. George Bush and his campaign are celebrating tonight, believing that they have won a big round in the debate over debates. The Dukakis campaign said today that it will submit to the Bush demand of only 2 presidential debates and just 1 vice presidential debate. Michael Dukakis had wanted to debate Bush at least 3 times. A Bush spokesman stressed that there is no final deal as he sees it, not until agreement is actually reached on format and dates. Both Bush and Dukakis were debating today at a distance with hecklers. Our coverage of that begins with Bruce Morton and the Dukakis campaign.
Most of what candidates do is aimed at your television screen.
Hail to Mike Dukakis.
The Dukakis campaign would have liked these pictures of his appearance before a mostly Polish audience today, but there were these pictures too.
Should we have to let them talk? Children? Why don't you let them talk?
Perhaps 20 anti-abortion demonstrators were scattered through the hall. They'd appeared at most Dukakis events, but usually silent. Today, they tried repeatedly to disrupt the meeting.
I respect your right to disagree with me.
Dukakis supporters scuffled with the demonstrators, muscling perhaps 8 of them out of the hall. No serious punches landed, but most of the crowd cheered his economic message that working people are being squeezed.
Benefits down over the last 8 years. My friends, I ask you, can we afford 4 more years of that?
Geraldine Ferraro's campaign was dogged by anti-abortion demonstrators 4 years ago.
I don't think the demonstrations are beyond what's acceptable, but I do think the amount of media attention that is focused on them is beyond the acceptable.
Silence was deafening at the Democrat convention, and they know this is an issue. It's been around since 1973.
What happened today was that the cameras saw both realities. The few demonstrators with their issue, the vast majority of the crowd applauding Dukakis. Bruce Morton, CBS News, Chicago.
This shipyard was supposed to be the backdrop for another Bush speech on defense, but it was a trip into hard hat territory where Bush seldom goes, and nothing went as expected. He was booed at every turn.
Jobs. Jobs for the working man and woman of this country.
Oh, John! Get out of here! Jesse! Get out of here! We want Jesse!
And his speech was drowned out by catcall.
I intend to win and be the next president of the United States of America.
Bush's message was that Democrats have misled blue-collar America, that it's the Republicans who have created jobs. But it was a message these workers weren't buying.
He doesn't speak my language. He doesn't speak my language at all.
The rich get richer and the poor get poorer under the Republicans. Seems like when Democrats are around, the poorer people have a better chance at life.
Bush couldn't escape even at the company canteen.
Good job. Some aren't as good, but most of them are better. You weren't listening to what I said in there. You guys.
Let's go eat.
Bush concedes he has problems in Oregon, and the scene as he left only underlined that. At Bush headquarters tonight, an exasperated official said only, "We are trying to figure out how this got on the schedule." Bob Schieffer, CBS News, Portland.
While the candidates are out on the trail, their campaigns are getting ready for a TV advertising blitz. CBS News correspondent Leslie Stahl got a preview, and here's her report on the selling of the president, 1988.
I want a kinder and gentler nation.
Candidates usually take the high road on the stump, leaving the mudslinging and hard-boiled negative attacks for their paid media. But things are upside down.
I've worked with a great president. I've seen what crosses that big desk.
You find the nasty head-bashing on the campaign trail, sweetness and light in the ads.
Really, they're introductory. They talk about who he is and what his hopes and dreams are and what his vision of America is.
We're going to build a kind of America where hard work is rewarded, where American goods and American workmanship are the best in the world.
And Dukakis, his aides acknowledge that Bush has successfully defined their man as a liberal taxer soft on crime. They're spending $1 million in national ads in an attempt to redraw that portrait.
For a new era of economic greatness in America, Michael Dukakis for president.
Because the election is so close, those spots, if one set of spots are really more to the point, more artistically done, more effective in terms of propaganda, they could make the complete difference in this campaign.
Hey, pal, how about a couple $100 billion? I'll pay you right back.
This is what the Democratic Party is putting out its own TV commercials with money not charged to the Dukakis campaign spending limits. These ads are tougher, designed to play on the anxieties of the middle class.
What's another trillion between friends?
Dukakis not only opposes the death penalty, he allowed first-degree murderers to have weekend passes from prison.
The Republicans also have an independent conservative group called Americans for Bush airing negative attack spots, mainly on cable TV.
As president, George Bush will be as tough on criminals as they are on us.
Political commercials can be the deciding factor in a campaign. Today's releases were just the opening shots. Both sides admit their ads will get much tougher and more personal before it's all over. Leslie Stahl, CBS News, Washington.
And still to come on the CBS Evening News, Betsy Aaron on a desegregation uproar that could bankrupt the city. And Eric Engberg on the Pledge of Allegiance in presidential politics.
X-Lax presents some gentle guarantees. A feeling of freshness, of confidence, and the peace of mind that comes from the X-Lax guarantee. Taken at bedtime, X-Lax is guaranteed to work gently, effectively by 8 a.m. or your money back. So you can start the day feeling like yourself again. And that's a promise you can count on. X-Lax, guaranteed complete relief by 8 a.m.
For all your pet means to you, shouldn't you give him and your family protection against fleas and ticks? You can with the 2-in-1 flea and tick collar from Hearts, the collar that's been protecting your pet for years. And the Hearts 2-in-1 collar kills fleas and ticks on your dog or cat for up to 5 months. It even works when wet. So get the collar that really works, because no pet should go anywhere without Hearts protection. The Hearts 2-in-1 collar, protection against fleas and ticks.
Plaque fighting, Cepacol mint.
But how does it taste?
Tastes great. Refreshing.
A mint that lasts.
New Cepacol mint mouthwash.
The truth is, heart specialists concerned about aspirin irritation recommend Ecotrin over Bayer to help prevent second heart attack. Consult your doctor about the only brand of aspirin that's safety coated to protect your stomach. That's Ecotrin, and that's the truth.
It's being called the most costly rescue yet of a single savings institution. But the bailout of a California savings and loan is only the latest in a series of dramatic rescues by the federal government. And critics are questioning whether the program is a true bailout or a Band-Aid to hide bad news from taxpayers until after the election. James Hattori has been looking into this.
After years on the edge of financial failure, American Savings and Loan opened for business today, banking on new owners and a $2 billion federal bailout.
So many of them going bankrupt that and losing that money. So I'm not in the shape to lose mine.
With 185 branches, American is the biggest insolvent S&L in the country. Yesterday's announcement puts it out of the red and into the hands of Texas tycoon Robert Bass, who has agreed to invest more than $500 million in the California Savings and Loan. Bass could have shopped at home. Texas has the most troubled thrift industry in the nation. S&Ls here lost nearly $7 billion last year. The Federal Home Loan Bank Board, which regulates and guarantees S&L deposits, is struggling with a so-called Southwest plan to stop the financial bleeding.
Every day we wait, of course, the problem gets bigger.
Among the plan's goals, cut losses by consolidating overbuilt institutions. The bank board wants to close nearly 1/4 of all S&L branches in Texas. But critics say the Southwest plan, in some cases, has simply consolidated a lot of small headaches into big ones.
And the basic problem of the regulators are like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. They're wishing for success, but there are no ruby slippers to save them.
At this point, the choices are do nothing or do something. And they're doing something.
First, don't worry. Your money is safe at Sunbelt.
S&L officials hope the mergers will help restore public confidence. That may be tough, since some experts claim Southwest thrifts could eventually be as much as $70 billion in the red.
The Southwest plan is an utter flop. It may buy a few months' time, but at tremendous expense.
Clearly a taxpayer bailout's inevitable. The only question now is when and how much.
One expert says the problem grows $1 billion a month. Smart Money says a solution won't come until long after the November election. James Hattori, CBS News, Dallas.
Defrocked evangelist Jim Baker and the so-called PTL bankruptcy trustee today announced, quote, an agreement in principle for Baker to buy back his religious empire. Baker reportedly came up with the highest bid, more than $165 million for PTL, its broadcasting facilities, and what is called the Heritage USA Christian Theme Park. Peter Van Sant reports.
Fallen TV evangelist Jim Baker tonight is back on his feet and on the verge of reclaiming his former PTL ministry.
It's very, very exciting. We're very happy about it, and we're looking forward to a very smooth and loving, peaceful transition as Tammy and I begin to administer and minister here at Heritage USA.
I think it's outrageous. It's letting the fox back into the chicken coop. And Jim Baker has defrauded hundreds of thousands of people.
Despite being defrocked and dismissed by his church last year after admitting having sex with Jessica Hahn, despite charges of homosexuality, of a grand jury investigation into his finances, Jim Baker today emerged as the highest bidder to buy the bankrupt ministry and its Christian theme park.
He was forced to resign, he's under investigation, and all of a sudden he comes up with $165 million. What does that do? Make him Jesus now? Everything's okay?
Baker's apparent return to PTL should not be seen as his vindication. Neither morality nor forgiveness played a part in today's decision. Bankrupt and desperate, PTL's trustee felt he had to go with the highest bidder.
I am so excited that my tummy's going brrr. It's like I got a butterfly in it.
Baker's reorganization plan, which is reportedly being bankrolled by Greek investors, still must be approved by a federal judge. In the meantime, Jim and Tammy hope to return to the airwaves later this month to preach and ask for money. Peter Van Sant, CBS News, Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Why do you take aspirin more than once a week?
Because my doctor told me to take one every day. You see, a few years ago, I had a heart attack. So I'm on a regimen of exercise, a healthy diet, and a tri-buffered bufferin every day.
If you've had a heart attack, ask your doctor about new tri-buffered bufferin. It's 100% aspirin, plus 3 buffers that help protect against stomach upset plain aspirin can cause.
Bufferin's a part of my life now.
New tri-buffered bufferin. Ask your doctor about it.
Whether your taste is for rich, satisfying decaf, or if extra smooth Mountain Blend decaffeinated is the way to start your day, when you've found a naturally decaffeinated blend that tastes your way.
It's necessarily Nescafe.
Rich decaf or Mountain Blend decaffeinated. Only Nescafe gives you this choice.
Great coffee blends to taste your way. That's necessarily Nescafe.
Maybe you thought the Romans didn't eat lunch. They did. Good lunch. Healthy. With fresh baked breads made from whole grain wheat and rye. Good then. Good now. In today's Roman meal. Great taste. Natural whole grain goodness. Make one meal a day a Roman meal.
The Census Bureau reported today that the number of Americans of Hispanic heritage in the United States has increased by more than 1/3 this decade. That's almost 5 times the growth rate for the rest of the population. The report estimates there were 19.5 million Americans of Hispanic background early this year, about 8% of the total population. City officials in Yonkers, New York today handed over $192,000 in fines accumulated last weekend. It's the most recent installment in escalating fines ordered by a federal judge determined to end Yonkers' opposition to a housing desegregation plan. And Betsy Aaron reports anger is mounting along with those penalties.
Not in my backyard, say those who are determined to keep court-ordered low-income housing out of their white neighborhoods. Each one of these demonstrators convinced he is right.
Sure, he's angry, but at the same time, he's affirming something, right? It's not a white sheet. It's the American flag.
Professor William Galston is a social scientist.
He's saying my conception of my country is that I and the people around me, my neighbors, ought to be able to determine their own affairs.
The court has determined that Yonkers systematically segregated its low-income housing in the minority side of town and has ordered that low-income housing be built on the white side of Yonkers. A majority of the city council defied the order. Fines have been levied against the councilman and the city.
This judge reminds me of a guy with a 45, and he put it to our heads.
My conscience will not permit me to vote yes because I have been ordered to do so.
We are not a bunch of racists. We are a group of people that have worked 2 jobs, 7 days a week to get what we have.
We will stay here until hell freezes over.
This Yonkers case is one of the most explosive desegregation battles in the courts in years.
I never thought I'd be quoting George Wallace, but he said, wait till it comes to the north.
Howard Weiss is president of the Fair Housing Council of Yonkers.
We should move ahead, settle this for the good of the city, and not make Yonkers the laughingstock of the nation.
Winston Ross is the man who started the legal action against Yonkers 8 years ago.
The recalcitrance of the city itself, the city officials, the council, it smacks of Little Rock and Selma. The racism you see in Yonkers is a product of the politics of how you got elected in Yonkers. People have to be taught to hate. And
how well have those lessons been taught in Yonkers?
Very well.
I'm not really scared. It's just that we work to get into this neighborhood. Why should people come in for free? Stupid.
You have to learn to like each other.
By the end of the week, fines against the city are going to hit $1 million a day. If no compromise is reached, Yonkers is going to be bankrupt by November. And in what may be the ultimate irony, the sides are so far apart, each thinks that if its view does not prevail, moral bankruptcy is a certainty. Betsy Aaron, CBS News, Yonkers.
These competitor cereals have a lot of fiber. Fiber's good for you, but unfortunately they also have added sugar and they're not low in sodium. Fiber One, however, is now low in sodium and has absolutely no added sugar, and no leading cereal has more fiber, all of which makes Fiber One very good for you. Fiber One. Get more of the fiber your body needs and less of the stuff it doesn't.
Friends acting funny? Maybe it's your breath. Now there's new Milk-Bone Mint Flavor Dog Biscuits. Mint Flavor biscuits put the bite on bad breath and clean your teeth. Because like all Milk-Bone biscuits, each crunch helps scrape away food particles and plaque that can cause bad breath. New Mint Flavor Milk-Bone Dog Biscuits with the cool taste of mint that everybody loves. Milk-Bone Dog Biscuits, twice a day.
Rich stain and tough polyurethane protection in one. Polyshades by Minwax. Get a beautiful finish in half the time. A finish to be proud of. Polyshades by Minwax.
In a new survey, we asked 1,000 doctors if stranded in the middle of nowhere, would they want Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol, Advil, or Bayer? Doctors chose Bayer, 3-to-1 over extra strength Tylenol. Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
Millions of American children went back to school today after summer vacation. Many began the day with a simple act that has been made into one of the most emotional issues of Campaign 88. George Bush has repeatedly attacked Governor Michael Dukakis for vetoing a bill to make reciting the Pledge of Allegiance mandatory in Massachusetts. Dukakis says that he was advised the bill was unconstitutional. Eric Ingberg reports now on politics and the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
On this first day of school, the country's democratic rituals looked the same, but the words had been charged by politics.
To the flag of the United States of America.
Republicans raising questions about the Democrats' patriotic values.
And to the republic for which it stands.
Political professionals know the real fight is over symbols.
Most pollsters would say that voters vote on values. And if you can take an issue and translate it into a value and touch their emotions rather than their brain touch their heart, you probably have a better chance of winning them.
While Bush may have touched a political nerve, analysts say he also runs the risk of appearing strident as old wounds are opened.
He's trying to revive the symbols of 1968 and 1970. If you remember, it's a Spiro Agnew kind of campaign, when the American flag was actually a divisive symbol in this country.
Americans respond emotionally to the symbol of the flag because they see their country as something special.
Well, I just believe that the United States of America is the best country in the world.
The idea of Americanism is the Americans have been somewhat isolationist, somewhat xenophobic, somewhat in the sense that we're chosen and the rest of the world is kind of either jealous or against us and so on.
It was not the Constitution or any U.S. official that gave us the pledge, but a Boston children's magazine, Youth's Companion, in 1892. The pledge was not recognized in law until 1942 and has been revised 3 times. Campaigns have always been fought around symbols.
Indivisible with liberty and justice.
A generation after FDR, Democrats were still running on the New Deal. Richard Nixon sought to capture the flag when his Vietnam opponents were defiling it. Ronald Reagan used flag imagery so well, the Democrats opened their convention with a bid to reclaim Old Glory.
With liberty and justice for all.
But as the schools began opening today, the meaning of the pledge was clear to children whose vision seemed pure, unobstructed by politics.
I think about peace and freedom.
Promise to the country.
Well, it sort of means to me honoring the flag.
Political analysts say it is too soon to know if the pledge issue will pull votes or anger an electorate wary about mixing the flag with politics. Americans have just a few ways to pay their dues to the country. The pledge is one, voting is another. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
And that's tonight's CBS Evening News. Dan Rather. See you here tomorrow. Good night.
To see how a bathroom gets this shiny clean, you have to go back to the beginning. To fresh-scented Lysol Basin Tub and Tile Cleaner. Lysol has the power to cut through dirt and soap scum, and it disinfects. Try Fresh Scent Lysol. It's how the shiniest bathrooms get their start.
New Light Scent Love My Carpet. The light scent not to be made light of. It's tougher on tough carpet odors than Arm & Hammer Light. Light Scent Love My Carpet. Delightful.
Mommy, Jimmy's playing with your face again.
Just as there are headaches and headaches, there's aspirin and there's aspirin. Anacin. Clinical tests show Anacin relieves headache pain better. Anacin's aspirin formula provides a more effective level of headache relief than regular aspirin. Better headache relief.
Feel better, Mommy?
Not just better, better.
Anacin. Not just better, better.
Now for indigestion, gas, introducing new Extra Strength Malox Plus. It neutralizes more than any leading antacid and dissolves gas. Nobody does as much as new Extra Strength Malox Plus.
Do you get more than you want from your high-fiber cereal, like sodium and added sugar? Get Fiber One. It has more fiber and it's low in sodium and has no added sugar. Get more of the fiber your body needs and less of the stuff it doesn't. Fiber One.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
I'm Charles Osgood.
And I'm Faith Daniels. Tomorrow, the Kiwi versus Connor as the America's Cup races begin.
Also, country singer KT Oslam on CBS This Morning.
This is CBS.
Good evening, I'm Brenda Blackman.
And I'm Chris Clark. Next on Eyewitness News, a new strategy in his murder case could mean the difference between life and death for a Nashville preacher. We'll have a report.
Sounds of heavy construction will soon interrupt solitude in this area of Brentwood as it expands to include new growth. We'll also have a look at nasty politics in a political year.
And a Nashville landmark is finally open for business again. Eyewitness News is next.